Welcome to Carolina Fishing TV. Dang, Mike's got 2 on already. We're surf fishing for reds. He won't even let us catch up coming out of the boat. He's about to hook up to a 3rd one. We're gonna go see if we can get it on the action. Got him all right here. First cast of the day. Got a school about 1,000 over here outside Bear Inlet. Redfish City, baby. Double hook up. Look at all of them. Let's surf right on in. Right there.
Nice big slot redfish.
North Carolina, March surf reds.
Number 4.
Usually chase in the wintertime. All winter we chase these fish in the surf with the boat. Today is the first day this season, really this spring, we've had a chance to step on the beach and go target them from the surf.
These redfish stack up here in the wintertime and then the early spring before they move into the marshes. And they get in big thick schools when the water's cold. So they can find bait easier, keep each other warm. And they're all good sized fish. 2 or 3-year-old redfish, usually getting up to 12 pounds, sometimes bigger.
Got one
spots on that one.
Woo. Come on.
Doesn't get more exciting than this right here.
Sweet. Look at that.
That's your spot Calcutta right there. That one's got 40 on it.
Got about 15 on that side and 20 something on that side.
That's a speckled trout. That ain't a redfish. Just throwing these gulp baits right here. Shrimp, white, pink, anything they can see good on an 1/8 ounce to 1/4 ounce jig head. You can sling it out there with a 20-pound leader.
Nice hook up right there.
We're gonna have to go catch some more of these.
No matter what you throw at them.
Didn't know redfish jump like that, did you?
We've had about an 8-degree temperature change this past 2 weeks. I was out here fishing on these fish about 2 weeks ago and the water temperature was about 47 degrees.
They're right there.
They didn't want to bite.
My fish in.
Catch one.
I
had to throw live bait at them and just let the live bait sit inside of about 2,000 or 3,000, and they finally one of them would take it. So right now, as you can see,
come here, puppy.
It doesn't matter. Got him on.
Your traditional surf fishing, you usually got rods twice this long and your posts and everything, and it's sort of a sit back and relax sort of sport. But with these big redfish schools, it's extreme, and there's tons of them there. There's every cast.
Another nice little, about 24 inches. This time of year in the winter, they got a lot of parasites on them. They'll eventually wear off as the water temperature heats up. This is a 4-inch pogie. The tail's been bit off. It's all tore up. I want to hook it backwards. No tail. Just like that. Doesn't matter. Just a little bit of scent.
We're using 1/8 ounce to 1/4 ounce jig heads with these gulp baits. Once you get into these fish, you know, white and pink are our better colors, but they usually doesn't even matter. They'll eat it. But the key is getting it down there to them in front of them. And they got to sink down there about 3 feet. That heavier jig head will drop it right there in front of their nose. And that's all it takes.
Just throw it out. Don't even move it. You don't have to move it or anything. Just let it sit there. Got a lot of current in here right now. That's moving your bait naturally. That one just jumped out of the water after it. You see all them in that way? That's backwards hook with no tail. It doesn't make no difference. They don't care. Any one of the Prios can take you out here and fish on these reds just about year round. Got him. Oh, he hit it. There he is, tripled up. Someone come to see you.
What I'm talking about.
you got? 20, 25, 26 inches?
Got another one here. Rob's got one about, what, 26 inches off?
He's about 26, 27.
I believe Rob's got that one. I don't know.
Might have it.
I got you that time, boys.
We are on Bear Island, but you know, you can do this up and down the entire coast of North Carolina. We got friends down south around Surf City off Lee Island, all that, doing this. We got friends up the beach on the other side of Cape Lookout, off from Drum Inlet, Koraly Inlet and whatnot, doing this. You know, for us, we don't have to leave the area. We're right here. We've got thousands and thousands of reds. There's no place better on the eastern seaboard than what we've got right here in North Carolina and what we've got right here in Swansboro.
They've showed up, you know, anywhere from 1,500 to we've seen high as 5,000 to 6,000.
How big are we usually looking at these fish, Rob?
These fish are usually the slot redfish and above. Most of the smaller fish push back into the internal waters and up the rivers during the winter, and these big reds come out into the surf zone. And most of the time they're anywhere from 25 to 35 inches, topping out around 15 to 18 pounds. But our average fish will be 6-7 pounds. And like I said, when these big schools get together, when the water's colder, before they come inside and break up, you can really just hammer them. They're just solid red schools, like they said, fish literally up to 5,000 fish.
Got him on! Probably gonna lose him with this straightened out hook. Yeah, they're right in front of you, Jeff, there. Yeah, they're to the left of you a bit.
As we move into April, we'll start seeing black drum come in with them. We're usually catching those around 10 pounds on down, but you'll see the large ones too. In the fall, we get a lot of the bigger ones. In the spring, we see a lot of those smaller black drum in the surf, probably 10 pounds or so.
Give them boys something to fish for. Huh? It's about what? 28 and a half, 29 inches? Definitely overslot. He's super healthy. Alright, boys gonna make the cast. Jeff hooked up. See if we can get a triple on here. Oh, they're right here in front of Jeff. You just seen them right there, right? See the big school? On to the right of them. They're moving down the beach to the left. Got him on. Uh-oh. Oh yeah. 28 and a half.
Down the barbs on these jig head hooks for easy release, since we know we're in them and we're going to be able to catch a bunch of them, and we're not keeping them anyway. We can push that thing down and quick release, easy to get them out of there.
And you don't have to have the big heavy surf rods like everybody, you know, is used to. You can come out here with your little trout outfit or your inside redfish outfit, 10-pound test, real light rods. Put you in about 6 or 7 packs of soft bait, some quarter-ounce head, pretty strong hook, and you're good to go. Lightweight.
Is that a pig there?
That's a pig. I got my trout light leader on there.
Yeah. Yeah, you know why.
He wants to grab a hold of that 33 incher. That fish.
Ah, look at that one.
That fish right there, what?
12 pounds.
Easily 13.
No, 12 to 13 pounds right there. That's a pig right there. That's one of the biggest ones we've seen in the surf this winter. That's a monster there.
That's typically about the biggest we'll get around here. Wouldn't you say, Rob?
You might see a few, 15, 20 pounders here and there, but most of them about 10 or 12 pounds on the ground.
Once them fish reach that kind of maturity, most of the time they'll stay offshore with them bigger 20 to 40 pound reds, or move on up the beach to like your Oregon Inlet, Okotoks Inlet.
And they usually end up going like out the Pamlico Sound, the mouth of the Pamlico River, and up to the mouth of the Neuse River. And we're out the Sound for the summer.
Yeah, he gets to that stage and he's a breeder stock. So he's going to start running with the breeding stock of fish. These small 24, 25 inch reds, they don't reach maturity, they say, until what, 27 inches, 28 inches?
Above 27 inches, really up there around 30 inches plus. But that's why they've got that limit in North Carolina at 27 inches maximum that we can keep. Protects those breeders and allows us to take a few of those smaller slot fish to eat.
You fish around here and you fish in these lower slot, or say slot fish, you're not going to catch too many big breeding fish with them because there's not no other fish for them to breed with. They're not going to stay around them. They're going to go on with the breeding fish. Move on up in the upper end population. Ooh, I can't stand it. I'm going to cast in that. Look at all my there. Got him on. I'd have to say that we have, it doesn't get any better than this. It can't. It can't. We stay here all day today, we catch 300, 400, 500 reds, just the three of us. It's just.
And we're not, I mean, there's no injury to these fish. Every one of these fish so far are hooked in the jaw. The mortality rate on these, every fish is living. There's not one of them injured, not one of them gill hooked. Look at that. Oh.
Doesn't get no better.
He's a good guy.
Bait. Anybody got bait? I'm baitless in Seattle. Let me have them pliers there.
He's got some. I got some bait.
This is a little smelt. That's the Berkeley Gulf smelt Rob's been throwing. Pearl white. I wished I had about a ½ ounce head with that. I'd be able to throw it farther. Think about using that big 4 inch bait. It's so heavy, dense, you can throw it far. Good thing we got the trout rods. Wouldn't be able to catch it far enough with a big heavy surf rod.
Triple hookups, a common occurrence.
I think I got the biggest one that time.
Hold on now.
Oh, wait a minute now.
Hold
Mike's
on.
got me. Mike's got me.
Oh. Nice one. Yeah. I do want to add, right now we're probably about 2 hours into the incoming tide. Tide can be very important on these fish. I mean, I would have to say if the tide was on the last 2 hours of outgoing, they probably wouldn't be here. They would push out on an outer bar off the inlet. But once that tide switches around, gets slack and starts to come in, they push right back on the shore. You have an incoming tide, fish is not worried about getting ebbed out on the beach or anything. He'll come right in there with his back out of the water. There's got to be at least 7,000 or 8,000 fish here right now. There's about 150 yards of just pure, you can see the red water there. It's just red, full of reds right there. How big is it?
Not as big as the other one, but it's about the second biggest out here today. That ain't bad. It's about 29, 30 inches long, that one. I just gotta get one over 34 inches in there.
Well, boys, do we have a good time today?
It was something, I'm telling you. Mike got a jump on us. We got almost across to the beach. Mike took off. He had a couple hooked up before we got into the surf.
I had my stuff ready to go.
He did. I don't know, we probably caught about 50 plus, at least 50 fish in an hour between the three of us.
Till we got tired.
The smallest fish was probably about 23 inches or so, and I don't know, the biggest one, Mike got the biggest one today. It was probably 13 pounds, 34 inches maybe. I mean, a lot of these fish we're catching are up there above 30 inches.
Got them all.
Most of the fish we had here for the past 2 months of the wintertime were about 22 to 28 inches. And yet we're catching one out of every 5 is probably 30 plus. There's another one about 31 inches, 32 inches.
Yeah, you're throwing in 4,000 or 5,000 fish. I mean, that's just luck.
Yeah.
Whichever one you throw in front of them just so happen to grab your bait. I mean, there's no...
You can try upsizing your bait, but the little ones are still going to eat it just as quick.
Yeah.
So you just got to keep throwing. Eventually you pull a couple of those pigs out of there.
That's it.
Mike did.
I don't know if the camera's going to show us any good footage as far as through those waves, but you know, with a good set of polarized lenses and standing, you know, knee deep in that water, those fish are right on that break if you get a chance to see them. And you know, it's just every time the swell comes up, you can just see hundreds and hundreds in front of you, sometimes thousands in front of you. I think the longest school we saw was probably a 30 to 40 yard stretch right in front of us along the beach. Just a wall of redfish every time that swell came up, and it's an amazing sight. It just, your heart just, it's like the adrenaline rush you get off a really good amusement ride.
Oh yeah,
or something like that.
It is. It's like a roller coaster. You get in there, it's exciting. You got all that surf zone breaking all over you, and you know, like I said, 99% of the time we were looking at the fish. We were able to visually see the school, and with this clear water, that just makes it even that much more fun to be able to see them moving, and it just gets your heart pumping like nothing else.
I want to emphasize, I mean, we're down here on the Crystal Coast in Swansboro, but you can catch these reds right now from Wilmington, probably even farther, but definitely from Wilmington. I know all the way to Ocracoke Inlet right now. There's big schools of reds pushed up right at the mouth of the inlets. They're going to hang around them bars. And today we fished on an incoming tide, about the first 2-3 hours of incoming tide, and it worked out well for us. It seems like on the incoming tide, the fish, they really push right up at your feet versus the outgoing tide. They're going to lay kind of in a little bit deeper water. It's going to be a little bit harder to see.
It also helps too, we had pretty clear water. Even though it was rough out there today, it was a rising tide, and we had, initially when that tide first started coming in, it was a little dingy. And then some of that cleaner water came in from off the beach, and we had good green water, so like Mike said, we could see those fish.
And right here local, we have Hammock Beach State Park ferry system. You can take a ferry right over here, bring your little trout rod, something 10 to 12 pound test. Like I say, bring a bag of 3 or 4 bags of baits, some 1/4 ounce heads.
And a camera.
Yeah, and
Bring your camera, because you're going to want some photographic evidence.
Oh man. That's another one about what?
31 inches at least.
Probably 12 pounds, about 12 pounder there. I mean, those redfish are really, right now, as well as they were biting, they're still picking that bait up off of the bottom. And we noticed that with our 1/8 ounce jig heads, when the current and the wind got together and they were sweeping our baits and they wouldn't touch the bottom, you'd look at solid wad of fish there in front of you, and you wouldn't get a strike. You have to toss back in right after a wave or right after the breeze dropped out real quick, and as soon as it hit bottom, be one on every time. So stepping up, you don't have to worry about going too heavy on a jig head. You can go up to a 3/4 ounce jig head. You can probably go up to an ounce jig head if you wanted to. You know, just in this case, you don't want to go too light.
The windier and the more current, the heavier your jig head is, the better. You want to have the best presentation with the lightest jig head that can get you down to the bottom, but different days it's going to take different size jig heads. Your 1/4 to 1/2 ounce is always going to get it down there deep enough, and when it falls in front of their mouth, they hammer it. They don't waste any time.
We appreciate folks tuning in today and watching the show, and again, give Hammock Beach State Park a call, jump on their ferry, come across to the island here, Bear Island. If you're not up for that, give Rob a call, Mike a call, or myself a call here in Swansboro. Look us up, Dudley's Marina here in Swansboro, and we'll take you across, and we'll do the same thing for you folks.
All right.